Hello Buns, and welcome back to Cinnabun Sundays, our weekly video series where we talk about all things bunny. And before you click out of this video or before you leave a mean comment, hear me out, hear me out. I know, I see you read the title of this video and you're like, wait, I thought this was a rabbit enthusiast channel. It is, and that is why I wanted to talk about today's topic of maybe you shouldn't get a rabbit because maybe they aren't the best pet for you. On this channel, I talk about rabbits every single week, and it can definitely lean towards a bias of rabbits being the best pet, everybody should own a rabbit, when that is not necessarily the case. Rabbits are a very special type of animal that need a very special type of owner, and I want to make it very clear that maybe you aren't meant to own a rabbit and maybe they are not considered the best pet, at least not for you. So today I am going to go through a list of things that I consider to be really difficult things about rabbits and why they're hard to own. So that way, if you are considering getting a rabbit, you have all of the information you need to make an educated decision. And before we get into that list, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. We post rabbit videos every single week, and I have some really exciting videos coming up this spring. You guys are not ready for the stuff that we have coming. That's all I'm going to say, but make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Okay, reason number one, I think, is a huge reason and probably the number one thing that I tell people when they are thinking about getting a rabbit. For the most part, rabbits are not cuddly, snuggly creatures. A lot of people really want a pet for companionship, something they can snuggle and cuddle and carry around, and I hate to break it to you, but that is not a rabbit. Of course, there are exceptions to every rule, and there are definitely sweet, snuggly bunnies out there who do not have a problem being held, but as a general consensus, rabbits would much rather keep all 4 feet on the ground and really don't like being picked up. In fact, picking up a rabbit is kind of its own barrier. Like, I have videos on how to lift a rabbit. Like, that is how difficult it is. So if you're looking for a pet that you can just put in the bed with you and cuddle and snuggle up to your face and hold all the time, I don't think I would look in the direction of a rabbit because that's not what they're going to give to you. Rabbits are definitely capable of a lot of affection. The way that I spend time with Cinnabun is I sit on the floor with her and I massage her head and she'll lick my arm and she'll like climb into my lap, but that comes with a lot of training and a lot of trust. And there are still times where I just really wish I could just pick her up right off the ground and snuggle her, but I know that she would be really uncomfortable if I did that. The next reason that rabbits are not the best pet is that they are considered to be exotic pets. Even though they're very common, everybody knows what a rabbit is, they are not easily treatable at a regular vet. You have to go to an exotic vet to have your rabbit treated, and that typically costs more money. And on top of that, there are just less exotic vets in a lot of areas. If you don't live in a major metropolitan city, you might have like a 1 to 2 hour drive to your closest exotic vet. So before getting a rabbit, make sure you have an exotic vet close to you or a vet that specializes in rabbits, because that is very, very important. Because if you don't, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble because rabbits need healthcare. I take Cinnabun to the vet at least once a year, and there have been many emergencies where I have had to take her on a moment's notice, and if I didn't have an exotic vet within 30 minutes, that would have been a really big problem. And this next point kind of ties into that, but because they are more of a unique type of animal, less people understand how to care for a rabbit, which makes leaving and traveling more difficult. You can train anybody how to take care of your rabbit, but at least for myself, I really only trust my parents to pet sit Cinnabun when I'm gone, because I have spent so much time with my parents teaching them about Cinnabun and what her tells are and how to know if she is sick versus not, because rabbits are professionals at hiding if they don't feel well, and they just have very specific care. So when I go out of town, if my parents aren't available to watch Cinnabun, I typically have to either bring Cinnabun with me or I can't go, because I just don't trust a random stranger or just a random friend to watch Cinnabun because they have no idea what to look for. It just adds an extra level of stress to everything. And like I said, you can teach anyone how to do it, but I just think it's a lot easier to find a pet sitter for a dog or a cat because there are just a ton of apps out there that can connect you with pet sitters, and most pet sitters understand how to take care of those types of animals, but a lot less understand how to take care of a rabbit. And then on top of all of that, when it comes to leaving the house, if you are traveling with your rabbit, they just don't travel super well. A rabbit would always prefer to stay in their routine and in their home. So if you do bring your rabbit in the car and you do travel with your rabbit, I usually have to bring a full suitcase for Cinnabun, and I usually spend my very first night wherever I am with her just like obsessing over her to make sure that she's comfortable, because she hates being in new environments. It's not like a dog where you can just put them on a leash, bring them in the car, and just let them adapt to wherever they are. Rabbits are just a lot more uncomfortable in situations like that and would always prefer to stay in their home. So leaving the house with a rabbit is just a big ordeal. So if you're looking for a pet that you can just bring along with you on all of your adventures, sure, you can train a rabbit to do that, but it's definitely going to be one of the harder animals to train, and you might just be more interested in looking at a dog that's just a lot more flexible in that realm. Next up, rabbits are extremely sensitive, and I mean this in a lot of different ways. Not only are they prey animals, which means that they just automatically are more sensitive to everything around them, they also have really sensitive stomachs. There are so many things that can set off your rabbit's GI system, and unlike a big dog that can just like get into food and eat a ton of things and then just poop it out or throw it up later, rabbits cannot regurgitate. So if they eat something that upsets them, that can send them into GI stasis, and if you don't know what to look for, that can be deadly. They're just such sensitive little creatures. You really have to understand your rabbit, and you need to know what to look for, and you need to be really careful with what you're feeding them and just the way that you interact with them in an environment. If things are too loud, if things smell weird, if you are acting weird, they're gonna pick up on all of those things, and all of those things can set your rabbit off. So if you live in an environment that's pretty hectic, maybe you have a lot of small children, or maybe there's a lot of people coming in and out of your house all the time, or you don't have the time and energy to devote to really focusing on your rabbit's food, that might not be the best pet for you, because they really do require a lot of attention, and they really require a strict routine and not a lot of crazy outliers. They're just very sensitive. Next up, they need companionship. Rabbits are not meant to be on their own. I have just Cinnabun. I do not have another rabbit, and I work from home, and my office is in the bunny room. So I am with Cinnabun pretty much 24/7, and she definitely appreciates that. She sits with me all the time. If I change rooms, she comes with me. She does not like to be by herself because rabbits are not meant to be by themselves. A lot of owners also will opt to have 2, 3, or more rabbits just because that companionship is so important. So if you are someone who only can have one animal and you're gone all of the time, you are not going to make your rabbit happy. Or if you're planning on having a rabbit and making their space in a back corner somewhere that you never go to, they're going to be miserable because they're going to be lonely. And a lonely rabbit can lead to depression, and that can lead to a lot of health problems as well. And also, it's just no life to give to your animal. And my last reason for why rabbits really don't make the best pets is kind of a silly one, but it's so real. It is hay. 80% of your rabbit's diet is hay, and hay actually comes with a lot of problems. The very first one being allergies. So many people are allergic to hay, myself included. Every single time I change Cinnabun's litter box, I immediately have to scrub like up to my elbows, and I'm sneezing. I have air purifiers all over my house. I vacuum my house every single day, sometimes twice a day, all because if I don't, my allergies will go crazy from the hay. And even though I try so hard to keep Cinnabun's space clean, I have her litter box inside of another box to keep the hay in there. Cinnabun still drags hay around, and it's just messy. So not only am I sneezy and it's dusty, but it just gets everywhere. And hay smells. It does not smell good. Again, I have air purifiers going all of the time, and they're expensive. Each air purifier I have is like $100. So if you're not willing to invest in that, your space is going to smell like a barn. I just feel like people don't talk enough about how hay is like the most inconvenient food to feed an animal. It's just something that belongs outside, belongs in a barn, but unfortunately, rabbits are indoor creatures, which means that their diet and their hay is fed to them inside. I am lucky enough to live in a house, so I change Cinnabun's litter box outside, but if you're in a small space like a 1-bedroom apartment and you have to do that inside, oh my god, the hay just gets everywhere. It's so gross. I know I'm talking so much about it, but I cannot express to you how much I hate hay. So Buns, that is my list of reasons why rabbits actually don't make the best pets. Of course, I think that Cinnabun is the greatest pet in the world for me, and I would not change anything about her, but I really do want to make sure that if you are thinking about getting a rabbit, you know these things and you know what you're getting into, because they are a very unique animal and not enough people talk about all of the weird things that come along with owning a rabbit. I am here to be honest with you. I am here to share my experience, and these are things that I have learned after owning a rabbit for 5 years. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please let me know down below if there are other things that I did not mention in this video that have been difficult about rabbit ownership for you, and I will see you in our next video. Bye, Buns! I'm literally getting sneezy right now because I turned the air purifier off to film and Cinnabun's in her litter box and my nose is already running. Like, this is so real.